Shibuya, the land of many buildings but not so many benches, which can be quite distressing because I promise after a full day of walking around one of the most walkable cities on earth, the only thing you will be craving is not a bowl of delicious ramen, but literally any spot where you no longer have to remain perfectly vertical. And preferably a free location because there are only so many times you can order a frappuccino at a Starbucks just so you can sit down for 30 minutes. So today I will be showing you my top 3 free favorite places to relax as long as you'd like in Shibuya. Plus, the only free public toilet I know of because let me tell you, those things are rarer than benches. So our first spot is actually rather bougie and actually somewhere I'd recommend visiting, not just in the search for back support, but in general, and that is Miyashita Park. It's this weird long-looking building here. It's actually pretty new and was built for the anticipated rise in tourism surrounding the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. It's a massive part indoor, part outdoor shopping mall that has 4 floors and is 330 meters long, or in American units, 9 football fields. There are over 90 stores, 5 sit-down restaurants, a food court, and even a K-pop dance studio. But I know you don't care about any of that, you care about the free seating, and don't you worry. Along the outside perimeter, there are several different seating options, and this bean-shaped cushion here is a perfect example.
I managed to get my own bean. My view is spectacular, check it out. Glorious, but it's soft, it's cushy. It's kind of like one of those playthings, like at a McDonald's or something. Squishy, very comfortable, no back support, but on the tier list of seats, this is definitely a solid C tier. You know, comfy, but no back support. Stay tuned for more seating tier lists. One of the best things about Miyashita Park too is that they have a Panda Express here. It's the only Panda Express I've ever found in Japan, and it used to be my favorite fast food restaurant back in college. Judge me all you want, I don't care. Panda Express is like the best. It was right next to my tennis court, so whenever I was doing tennis practice each day in college, we'd always just go to Panda Express, so it holds a very special place in my heart. And it's nice to be able to get it here. I don't have to travel back to America to get it. That being said, don't waste your time going to Panda Express if you come to Japan. There's like better places. In fact, even in Miyashita Park, there's a bunch of like restaurants here that are, I'm sure, much better and much more expensive though than Panda. But you probably didn't need me to tell you that.
Shopping is easily one of the favorite activities to do here, and for good reason. There are a lot of unique and cool shops, but of course the most popular is the clothing shops. Now, like I said before, Miyashita Park can be a touch bougie, and bougie equals expensive, and now I'm just gonna assume that none of us here have that much money, especially after paying for that plane ticket to Japan. So a helpful way I have found of telling if a store is too bougie is the amount of clothes they have. Just like a fancy food restaurant, the less food there is, the fancier it is. So similarly, the less clothes at a store, the fancier and bougier it is. So this clothing store here, oof, almost no clothes, way too fancy, we cannot afford this. But this store here, damn, look at all those clothes, I bet they're just giving away for free. Again, take Gucci here, they have what, like 2 jackets on display? Gucci gonna Gucci. Anyhow, you get my point. Let's continue our search for seats that are so unbougie I am surprised they even let them in here in the first place. Oh, like this bench here, this normal looking park bench.
I found the park bench and it has another fantastic view, check it out. I'm getting so lucky with my views today, for sure. This park bench ranks a solid B tier. I actually have a table in front of me, which is nice, but once again, no back support. Never need back support. My chiropractor will not be happy.
Honestly, I think the only store I've ever bought something from here is this souvenir store, creatively named The Souvenir Store. They have a cool assortment of typical and not so typical souvenirs. But enough about the shops, because 95% of the time I come to Miyashita Park, it's for one thing, which is the rooftop park and garden that takes up the entire 4th floor. Honestly, it's a great place to relax during the day, and it's extremely family friendly and perfect if you're traveling with children and just need to take a breather, a common phenomenon, I am told. Then at night, it transforms to seamlessly blend into Shibuya's nightlife scene. This park has everything: a Starbucks, food trucks, beach volleyball court, rock climbing wall, and even a skate park. But what about the seating, I hear you asking me? Well, Miyashita Park has several types of seating, the absolute worst of them being these 2 metal rods, this metal rod seat here. Japan has somehow tricked everyone into thinking that this qualifies as seating.
These little metal poles are the worst, F tier. They're painful, the sun's in my eyes. They're little metal cylinders. They feel exactly how you would expect. Don't recommend these. The ground is better. Score, I got super lucky. These are easily the best seats in Miyashita Park, and Miyashita Park's usually pretty crowded, so you have to just get really lucky to get one of these. But alas, we have achieved salvation, the final stage. Back support. I mean, the wiring's okay, but this has back support, so you can stay here and chill. And this view is actually decent. It's of the volleyball, sand volleyball field, but there's no volleyball game going on, but I shall visualize and enjoy my back support. The only problem is these are 3 people seats and I'm just sitting by myself, so there's like an empty seat next to me. So anyone can technically come and sit down, although people sometimes don't, but sometimes you'll get someone who will. And in that case, I think I'll feel too awkward. I'll have to get up and like leave. Because I feel awkward sitting on a bench and like filming next to a complete stranger, but hopefully I have some time before that inevitably happens. I don't know if y'all relate to that, but yeah. It's me from 10 seconds later. Someone literally sat down about 10 seconds after I filmed that, so it was nice while it lasted. In Japan too, as soon as October is past, once Halloween is over, they switch right into Christmas mode. There's no Thanksgiving, so they skip entirely to Christmas. So there's Christmas decorations everywhere. There's a Santa Claus run, some Christmas trees. In fact, I think I should do a Christmas tree counter. I was raised in a household where my little sister, whose birthday is around Thanksgiving, was very passionate about not skipping Thanksgiving. So I'm trying not to indulge too much in the festivities until Thanksgiving is past, which is not yet as of when I'm filming this.
But it really does seem like the universe was dead set on testing my resolve, because not even 5 minutes later after walking to our next spot, I was met with this giant parade of Santas. Like, what? What is this? You can't make this up. Anyways, our next spot is just a short walk away from Miyashita Park, and it's much more low-key and is home to the only free public bathroom in Shibuya, at least the only one I've ever found in 3 years of living here and searching. Small disclaimer.
Okay, and here we are, one of the only public bathrooms that's free that I know of in Shibuya. So if you really have to go to the bathroom and you don't want to have to pay to use a store's bathroom, this is the place. And of course, in typical Japan fashion, they put it around a nice garden. So you can walk through a nice garden as you use the not so clean, even for Japan standards, public bathroom. But it's free. And you know, a lot of times in Shibuya, you find yourself just really needing to use the bathroom and you end up being kind of desperate, and well, at least it's in a garden, so that's nice. I think this area has a name. I'm not sure. I kind of forget. I'll have to look it up and see. If it doesn't, I'll link it in a Google Maps, like link in the description below for where exactly this is. But it's really close to Miyashita Park and it's close to central Shibuya, so it's in range. You can make it here. So you can enjoy the super comfy seating that they have in this area. Look at these beautiful world-class stools. Incredible. Do you think in the tier list of seats, these seats are just like one tier above the ground, but at least it won't be dirty? Probably. Look at these flowers. They're so beautiful. Wow. It's great. You can enjoy nature, even in the heart of Shibuya. Watched a video on how to take cinematic shots, and they're all like, get low on the ground. So that's what I'm trying now. Let me know what you guys think. If it works good. Are the shots cinematic? I'm trying, but there's not that much to work with here, if I'm being honest. People are looking at me like I'm weird, so I'm gonna stop crouching on the ground. I hope you guys enjoyed the shots. What do you guys think? Do you think the safety cones add to the garden or take away? I think it's kind of like a nice avant-garde modernism twist to what is otherwise a standard garden, so I'm for them.
On to our final stop. To get there, we need to cross the famous scramble crossing. Here I am, activating full tourist mode, aka filming yourself in selfie mode while crossing. There also seemed to be some sort of fancy car parade going on as well. Now, I'm not a fancy car expert, but I have another rule for how you can tell how fancy the car is. You see, the louder the car, the fancier it is. Or at least that's what I've surmised from this exhibition, because oh my god, I now know why Japan has so many earthquakes. It's from the sound waves these cars give off. But thanks to my rule, I was able to tell that these are, in fact, indeed, super fancy cars, because they were super loud. And similarly, that's how I was able to tell that these go-karts, turns out, are all super fancy too, because they were just as loud. Who knew? Anyhow, to get to the final spot, you need to walk through the back streets of Shibuya, which I think is just as cool, if not cooler, than the scramble crossing, because they are littered with really interesting restaurants and shops, not to mention actual litter too, just a heads up. This street in particular is really cool and is the perfect shortcut to get to our final spot. It's called the Spain Zaka Slope. It's actually one of the coolest places to take pictures. I've actually done a photo shoot here before, and they turned out to be some of my favorite pictures I've ever taken. At the end of the street, you'll find our final spot, which is the famous Parco building. The Parco building is a ritzy, I'm trying not to say bougie too much because I feel like I've already said it way too much just for one video, shopping center, home to a lot of really cool stores, but it is famous for housing the Nintendo shop, jump store, and a Pokemon center. Keep in mind though, these are all on the same exact floor and are right next to each other, and it is always extremely crowded, so be prepared if you want to visit. We are, however, skipping all of these and heading straight up the escalators to a beautiful rooftop garden on the 12th floor. The rooftop garden could not be more different from the Nintendo store. It's quiet, peaceful, and is one of the few places in Shibuya that is not always swarming with people. It also has one of the best free views in Shibuya. In the front, there's a lot of tables, and there's usually a taco shop, which does have a ping pong table, but it was closed when I went this time. And in the back, there's an even quieter garden with a view of the rest of Tokyo outside of Shibuya, and on really clear days, you can even see Mount Fuji.
Here we are at our final spot. This, even though it's not as glamorous as the other spots, well, the public bathroom wasn't glamorous, but even though it's not as fancy as like Miyashita Park, this is my favorite. It's quiet. It's one of the least known rooftop parks I think in all of Japan. I think it has the best views. You can even see Mount Fuji from here on a clear day, which today we're very lucky it is. And it's just very serene. There's always seating. They usually have like a taco shop here too, but it's not open right now. And this is just a perfect place to quietly get out of the way and chill for a bit. You'll see people who bring their laptops and books here and just relax, and there's always empty space. This place is special to me too because the first week I moved to Tokyo, this is one of the first places my friends took me, I think on like the second or third day I was here. So it's a very nostalgic place for me. I actually don't think I've really been back since then. I think maybe one time I've been back, but yeah. This is on the 12th floor and there is an elevator, but a more fun option is there's stairs all the way up to the rooftop garden. So if you're feeling, like you're missing hiking or something, consider taking the stairs. I won't be doing that. I'm gonna take the elevator like a normal person. But there's always the option. So, if you feel like you really didn't get your steps in today, which I promise will not be a problem when visiting Tokyo, this is a good way to make up for it. Look, I found more flowers. A surprising number of flowers today, considering it's the biggest metropolitan city in the world.
Well, those are the 3 spots, but as a bonus, I actually went to the lovely Shibuya Sky afterwards, which is the best observation tower in all of Japan, in my opinion, and always has great seating too, but it is definitely not free and is always booked, so if you want to visit, plan in advance. But luckily, I have a year pass, so I can go anytime I want. Anyhows, please enjoy these gorgeous shots of Tokyo nearing sunset, and if you'd enjoyed, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Ja ne!